Yeah, hello, all of you out there. My name is Uche Onyebadi, and this program, Cross-Cultural Experience. Those of you who have been watching, you know that I invite a guest, and the guest would have moved from the culture of origin to somewhere else, experience something, and that guest wants to share whatever it is. Usually it's very, very exciting, but it's more like a learning process because we all cross cultures from time to time. And so today I have a young lady who has crossed quite a number of cultures. Her name is Sylviane. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank
Uh,
you.
All right. So just briefly introduce yourself and then we can just go into talking about your experience. And most importantly, what did you learn from each of the experiences?
So my name is Sylviane Gandukaleng at GREENSWORD. I am an assistant professor of professional practice at Texas Christian University. I was born and raised in France for the most part, but my parents are from the Democratic Republic of Congo. So you can see Eiffel Tower in the background, but I also wave my Congolese flag very
That's
proudly
great.
in my
That's
office.
great.
I do claim both identities, and I guess I'm Texan now, so
Right.
I'm a citizen of the world,
You know,
Afropolitan.
I also call myself a citizen of the world. All right, so welcome, fellow citizen of the world, and let us start sharing the experience. I mean, everybody who is watching this is already know from the Congo, from France, and now in Texas, and then a citizen of the world. Okay, let's share your experience.
So I was raised in France for the most part. I actually spent several years in Algeria in North Africa, which is where I started attending school. I went to a French school, but it was located in an Arab country.
Yeah.
So I really experienced a mix of culture from the moment I was born. I was a multicultural being. Even though I lived in a country where Arabic was the main language, I attended a French school, but yet my friends were Congolese and Russian and from all over the world. Like it was a very strange blend of ethnicities and cultures. So wherever I went, I felt like a foreigner, but I also felt at home. So it's a very interesting place to be. But I moved back in France when I was 7 years old, and
Okay.
I was a mix of being a foreigner because I was not white and because I also came directly from Algeria. Um, but my first language was French. I did not know that much of any other languages. My parents, they really raised us speaking French at home, probably because they wanted to equip us with, strong education, like having
Yeah.
impeccable grammar was very important. But at the same times, they made fun of us because when we tried to speak Congolese languages, we had a French accent. So they made fun of us. They called us colonizers, missionaries, all kinds of epithets. But at the core, we still knew that we were African. There was never any doubt about that. We grew up eating fufu and cassava leaves
Okay.
and all of these
Now you're
dishes,
talking.
listening to the music and all of that. So there was never any doubt as to which community we truly belonged to, even though, they teased us from time to time.
Hmm.
And eventually, at age 18, I moved to the United States. I attended LSU, so that's why you see a little bit of Tiger regalia in the background.
Okay. All
Yes,
right.
I graduated from LSU, so go
Yeah.
Tigers. And lived in Louisiana for about 18 years until I moved to Texas to join TCU.
Okay. And dad was a professor, or he's a professor.
Correct. So my father, who passed away a
Right.
little under 2 years ago, was
Okay.
Professor Pius Ngandu Kashama. He
Okay.
was a professor at Louisiana State University, and that's the reason why we came in this country in the first place.
Okay.
He had a prolific career at TCU working at the Department of French Studies, a very
Mm.
accomplished writer, accomplished scholar, internationally renowned. So, I had to live under his shadow, but that was also very inspiring because he was my mentor. He is the one that really pushed me into having developing career in academia. That was his dream. And we were a team until he passed away. He
So I'm
was
sorry,
my
sorry to
mentor,
hear
but
that. Right.
yeah, he gave us a lot of very good memories, to fall
Okay.
back on. And so to this day, it
All
serves
right.
that constant.
Let's start sharing some of those, one or two of those experiences, because this is very exciting. French
Hmm.
speaking person in an Arab country, and then moved to the US, and then moved Congo, all everything rolled into one. Now I understand why you call yourself a citizen of the world.
Indeed.
Okay, let's share the experience. Whatever experience you want to share with us.
So it was very interesting coming into this country, and
Yeah.
out of all the places we could land, we landed in Louisiana. So I had attended college for a little while in France before I came here,
Yeah.
and I was majoring in English. English had always been my favorite subject at school. I had straight A's. Like that was, nobody could beat me in English. I was the best of the best. And so I was convinced that I was fluent in English. I had traveled to South Africa, I had traveled to England. And then I arrived in Louisiana and I was met with a very interesting mixtures of sounds and intonations that I had never experienced before. And somehow the people who spoke it were convinced they spoke English.
Okay.
This was the most intriguing experience coming into
Yeah.
this country.
Yeah.
So it was a learning curve. I had to learn everything all over again. It's different
So what what
grammar,
were-
different.
what were they speaking to you? What were they speaking?
Oh, I cannot describe it. That southern twang is
Yeah.
just different. Is there a name for it?
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure. And the craziest thing is that those who wanted to make me feel welcome would try to speak French to me. But the
Oh.
French that is spoken in Louisiana is not the same that what is spoken in France. But how could you explain that to a population that has been convinced all these years that they had a strong French heritage
Yeah.
and that they spoke French, but their Creole, between the Creole French and the Cajun French, none of them were really anything that I was familiar with. So coming here was really, this is like a whole new world.
All right. So if I get it right,
Mhm.
their French was not French enough. Their English
Yes, sir.
was not quite English enough,
It
aside
was
from your perspective. So how
it
did you
was not what I
adjust?
had learned.
Right. How did you adjust? Did you start learning I don't know. Did you
Yes,
start? Okay.
there's a name for that. It's called survival. I had to learn. I had
Right.
to. I had to get used to, and my accent changed too because coming in this country, I guess my accent was a bit more British,
Yes.
and somehow as the time went by, my T's started to be pronounced as D's.
Oh
So
yeah.
instead of saying 20, I heard
Yeah.
myself saying 20.
Okay.
And I don't know what is that metamorphosis, that linguistic metamorphosis? What is going on?
Yeah. Okay. What's your educational background? I know you have a PhD in something. What
My
is it?
PhD is in geography and cultural anthropology.
All right.
How apropos.
All right. So, as a cultural anthropologist, how did you see all those things, like moving around all the time? It's like the world was just moving around you and you had to adjust at every given, specific time. How did you, this is your territory. So,
So one thing we know about culture is that the only constant thing is change itself. So we
okay.
know that cultures are bound to change. But the way I saw it, I think probably the most positive takeaway is that everything you learn at school is is all theoretical. It's not until you
Okay.
actually are put in a situation where that knowledge is put to the test that you realize what it really means. What it really means to speak a language as opposed to being able to effectively communicate with people. And I had to learn that because I'm bookworm. My father, as I say, is a
Right,
scholar,
right.
so we were all
Okay.
about the books, the books, the books. But coming here and seeing a new way of speaking English and being able to have enough cultural relativism not to judge those people, not to
Yeah.
say that, oh, they don't understand the rules. No, maybe I had to understand that they have a different set of rules. Their grammar is probably a blend of African grammar and French grammar and English grammar.
Okay.
So I had to, instead of having like my little ethnocentric self of how things are supposed to be according to the grammar rules and the accentuation on the one before final syllable, I
Yeah.
had to just learn all of that and see that these are human beings, these are people. You're not talking to a bunch of encyclopedias. You're not talking to, you know, linguists. You're talking about real people. And it took my learning to actually appreciate humankind as a bunch of people who are fluid, who are dynamic, organic, not just set in stone as to what we have learned at school, and that's all there is. It was a beautiful experience, and that's probably what motivated me to start studying anthropology.
You know what? That is a real idea behind this forum. It's not for you to go there and go to Louisiana and say, no, you must speak my version of French or my version of English language. No, you have to adapt to whatever situation you
You
found
do.
yourself. And
Mhm.
like you said, these are human beings, not a bunch of, if I quote you, not a bunch of encyclopedia. Tell me something. I'm really interested in Algeria. Algeria. Did you have any specific experience that made you adapt again? Now we've talked about Louisiana. How about Algeria, where you went to school?
Yeah,
Anything you remember? Yeah.
Algeria is the place where I realized that I was Black for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Um, because as I shared earlier, we were attending a French school. So the majority of it was a, a public school, but that was operated by the French Department of Education.
Okay.
So it really functioned like a private school, but it was actually a public French school located in a separate country. And that's a very peculiar situation to be in because Algeria had a particularly violent experience with independence and decolonization.
Correct.
So the fact that you still had representatives of the French government there, of course, I was way too young to understand that at the time. Um, but just having that French government presence there, I did not realize that this was the cause of so much antagonism with the local populations. All I knew is that people resented us for attending that school.
Mm-hmm.
People resented us for speaking French and not Arabic.
Okay.
Uh, and if that was not enough, we were also resented for being Black. So we
Oh,
could not belong. So I'm saying me, as like me and my siblings and the fellow
right.
Africans who lived in my neighborhood, because you have several Congolese families in that neighborhood. Um, so we just know people, they call us like Kahalush, Kahalush, which is Arabic for Black. But we didn't understand what was so wrong about it as long as we were together in that community. But once we started to venture out on our own in the classroom, where I was sometimes the only Black person there, um, I realized that yeah, there are some occasions where I'm actually an outsider.
Right.
That was a very, very peculiar experience because I could not tell if it was good, if it was bad, or if it was my fault, or I was just a little kid. So all I knew is that I'm different, but yet I'm put in the category with the French people, which were the colonizers or the descendants of the colonizers.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
know I was not a colonizer because I was from a country that had been colonized by the
Colonized.
Dutch.
Right.
So it was a very, very unique situation to be in. And then by the late 90s, the violence grew even further with the rise of Islamic nationalism. So it was a moment where a lot of French diplomats actually get expelled from the country. Uh, but because we were not French citizens, we found ourselves having nowhere to go. My
Ooh.
father lost his job on the premise that why should a foreigner teach at a university when we have Algerian scholars who can do it.
Right.
An
Okay.
argument that, I'm sure you have heard several times. At the same time, we were not Muslims, we were Christian. So we were also part of the religious minority. And by the end of the 90s, by the early 90s, I'm sorry, was a time of the rise of the anti-Christian sentiment. So we
Yeah.
had priests being beheaded, churches being attacked. And so we were part of that community. Um, it was rough. It was rough. I lived it as a child without fully understanding, but I'm sure that for my parents, that must have been really worrisome times.
Right. I know that Frantz Fanon wrote something about the Algerian Civil War, but that's something you said
Yes.
that piqued my interest. It's
Mhm.
I once talked with, or had a conversation with somebody who is from Zimbabwe, black guy, and
You have
then
to specify.
he traveled. Yeah, he traveled to South Africa, and you know what he
Mhm.
told me? That when he traveled to South Africa, to somewhere there, Cape Town or whatever, that was when he realized he was black
Yes.
in South Africa.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
he gave me almost whatever you're just talking about now, suddenly realized that he didn't belong. It was neither here nor there. But you
Mhm.
know what? And I probably think it was same, with regard to your own situation. It strengthened you,
It does.
and you
It does.
learned
You grow thick skin.
correct, and you learned a lot from that kind of
Mhm.
situation. Okay. Whew. This has been very, very exciting. I I'm tempted to plot the geography of your life. I can't do it because it has too
You
many.
need an interactive map.
All right, but I want to believe that who you are today is a product of such experiences, all these various and varied experiences. All right. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. And I
Absolutely.
wish we had more time to now go into other things, but this is just sufficient. Yeah, for this program. I want to thank you again for the time and good luck with everything you do. And so you speak French, you speak English, you speak Lingala.
A little bit. Moke moke.
Oh, aha. So what other languages do you speak?
I do speak Spanish.
Spanish and
Mm-hmm. A little bit of Chiluba, which is our ethnic language.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
a little Swahili.
Let me just stop at that because now I might now need that encyclopedia to start.
Ah,
All right. Thanks again. Bye for now.
bye-bye.